Hey guys, and welcome to my to-do list for week 1 of Legion Remix. This is a gearing guide as well as some extra things like mounts and stuff. Now I'm going to go over several tips and activities that you should do to progress the best way in Legion Remix. For a nice little head start, as soon as you make your character, you can go to the general tab of your spellbook, hit the Warbands button, and use the Warband Map to everywhere all at once. And this will unlock a bunch of exploration achievements provided that you've already explored these areas. You will get the achievements as well as a nice chunk of bronze that will get you started with buying some collectibles. After you finish the game's intro in Dalaran, eventually you will have a portal located over here to the Infinite Bazaar. The game will take you here by default, but if you don't know how to get there of your own accord, it's going to be located over here in Dalaran, and you'll just take this portal. This is where most of the event stuff is happening. You'll find many quests that you need to do, and boy, this game mode has tons of them. This is also where all the vendors are located to buy some cool stuff. You can get all sorts of mounts and transmog, anything that you want, and you can see here it's going to use the currency called bronze, which you'll be getting through various activities throughout the game. You don't even have to focus on farming it. You're going to get a ton of it by playing and doing everything I'm about to tell you. The next major thing you're going to do in this game is obviously get your artifact weapons. This will require you to go to your class order hall. This is different for every single class. If you play monk, you get the Zen Pilgrimage spell that takes you to your class order hall. Really cool. But keep in mind, every class has their own one. Regularly check back to your class order hall to unlock quests to get all 3 of your artifact weapons. This is so that you can play all the specs of your class. Now, various activities throughout this game mode are going to empower and increase the eye level of your weapons, and whatever you increase on one weapon will be increased with your other weapons too. You'll also note that they have the infinite power, which is something that is going to go up over time as we collect various things. You'll have to increase the stat by collecting infinite power, and this is going to drop from many different things, such as these chests and enemies. You're going to see here, this will always give you some infinite power as well as bronze. Now, are you going to be spending this infinite power by holding the shift and right click on your artifact weapon to put in points in this tree? And this is going to be the talent tree for your artifact weapon. I recommend unlocking everything on the hilt side over here, on the left-hand side. This is going to cost you infinite power. This is what you're farming the currency for. Once you have completed the hilt, every single point over here, you can start unlocking a single line. I use this one over here called the Twisted Crusade. It's fantastic for single target damage, and you can get a nice burst AoE if you use the lost version of it over here, Fell Spike. It allows you to explode the demon, sacrificing your continuous damage that it does for a massive amount of damage, especially when there's a bunch of enemies near it. Once you've completed a line and you've made your way to the end over here, you're going to spend consecutively 50,000 infinite power to boost this limits and beyond to further increase the strength of the weapon. And this scales up to 999, which is going to take you forever. Which is why the cap for infinite power is 99,999,000, yada, 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 you get it. So you're going to need a lot of infinite power, and it gets better by having more infinite knowledge. Now, while infinite power is for specific classes, infinite knowledge is account-wide. Now, what infinite knowledge is, it essentially increases the multiplier of how much infinite power you collect and you loot. So the more infinite knowledge you have, the more infinite power you're going to get. For example, when I do mining and herbalism, which is actually a great way of getting this currency for free, so regularly pick up these, you can see here I got 416 infinite power from mining this. And the more infinite knowledge you have, the higher that amount of infinite power you gain is. Now, infinite knowledge is tied to achievements, and that's where this guide comes in. You should also note that the more you gain infinite power, every certain intervals like 10,000, 50,000, 100,000, you'll get 1 infinite knowledge for each level, and this keeps going further onwards. The next one currently being 250,000, so you can see where this is going. The next one's probably going to be 1 million. This is something you're just going to progress over time, so don't really focus too much on grinding it specifically. Just play the game, you'll get it. Now, the main thing you're going to do throughout the game, as anybody will tell you, is you just have to play and quest, do every single quest. And the reason you're doing this is you want to do the Lorerunner Achievements, so that's pretty much doing the campaign of every single zone within the Broken Isles. That is for Azuna, Velshara, High Mountain, Stormheim, Suramar. I recommend actually starting the game by leveling in Stormheim and then moving to Velshara. And then by that point, you should be very close to 80. I actually hit 80 just at the beginning of Azuna as my 3rd option. And essentially, you want to do every single quest that you see highlighted on the map. You can also open up your achievements journal, go to Quest tab, and look for the Lorerunner Achievements and the Sojourner Achievements so that you can make sure you've got them, and click them to see if there's any ones missing that you might have missed. The reason you're doing this is because you can notice here, Lorerunner of Azuna gave me 1 infinite knowledge. That means you get 1 infinite knowledge for doing everything in these 5 zones, and that is already 5 infinite knowledge. The next one's going to take you a bit of time, and this is to do 100 world quests. This is going to take you a bunch of days, trust me. Since you cannot physically do 100 world quests in a short time, you have to wait for them to respawn. These show up like this on the map here. There's also a lot of them tied to dungeons, like killing new special elites within the dungeons to complete the world quest, and also killing the final boss so that you complete the dungeon. Now you're going to regularly pick up random things. This is going to be one of them. I have about 36 of these. This is Nostwin's Voucher. This is going to allow you to return to the Bazaar at any point. Now the fantastic thing about this item is that it allows you to come back to exactly this location. It acts like a town portal. You'll see that I have this button highlighted over here. If I use this, it will take me back to where I just was. So this is fantastic to make your way back to the Bazaar for any changes that you might make. Now, the next infinite knowledge you can get is actually by interacting with the console of infinite chaos, and this is going to put you into heroic world tier. Essentially, this is going to make everything hit a lot harder and have a lot more HP to deal with. Now, while this makes every mob generally a little bit harder to deal with, and you would have to take them a little bit more seriously, this is not something you're going to activate from the very beginning of the game. Though I do have a little bit of a tip for you. When you are about level 50 to 60, the scaling for your gear is actually really good, and you might be able to go into heroic world tier just before you hit around level 70. After level 70, the scaling goes really bad and everything gets a little bit harder. And as soon as you hit level 80, everything is rough until you get to around just under 600 eye level. That's when you can start popping back into heroic world tier to do things and feel a little bit more safe without having to worry about dying every few seconds. Now, the main reason you want to do this is for the infinite knowledge you get from certain empowered mobs. You'll see some mobs have this green icon above them, and they are empowered. By defeating 50 of them, you will actually get a infinite knowledge. But also remember, they're a little bit harder, but I'm a monk, so I just one-shot them with my freaking touch of death. So try to defeat 50 of those as early as you can so that you can gain that infinite knowledge. And obviously, you'll get a ton more loot from the enemies in heroic world tier than you would in normal world tier, as would make sense. Just as long as you're able to kill them fast enough, it would make sense to swap over. The next 2 infinite knowledges are going to require your attention to the map when there are Legion assaults. Pretty much one of the zones will have a green icon over it, and you will have to participate and complete that assault. This is because completing a Legion assault will give you 1 infinite knowledge, and if you actually complete 5 of the Legion assaults, you'll get another infinite knowledge. It's just that they're not active all the time, so you'll have to just be aware and check your map regularly to see every hour if there is one active or not. The next thing you're going to want to do is open up your dungeon journal, go into specific dungeons, and do every single dungeon in heroic difficulty. This is because you'll be progressing several achievements to get the bronze caches, but mainly there are certain achievements here that give you infinite knowledge for defeating a certain group of dungeons. Vault of the Wardens, Blackrock Hold, Assault on Violet Hold gives you 1 infinite knowledge. You'll get another one for doing the Eye of Ashara, the Archway, and the Court of Stars as a group here. And then another one for Neltharian's Lair, Halls of Valor, Darkheart Thicket, and the Maw of Souls. That's why you should do all of them in Heroic, because you also progress the other achievements too. You can do this in Normal, but you really want to just get it over and done with in Heroic. You'll also want to progress for the raids. The raids is also a pretty easy one. You're going to go to your raid finder. You're going to queue for pretty much all 4 of these so that you have done each of them at least once. For doing all of the bosses in the Emerald Nightmare, so all 3 wings, you'll get 1 infinite knowledge. And for defeating all 3 bosses in the Trial of Valor raid, you'll get another infinite knowledge. Once you're comfortable enough to start Mythic Dungeons, if you do a +7 Mythic Dungeon, you'll actually get a piece of infinite knowledge as well. You'll also want to go ahead and hunt down the world bosses. I think there's a new one every single day. I believe after you defeat all of them, you get an infinite knowledge as a reward. So this is something you should try focus on every day at least. It also gives you a cache of infinite power, which is a good chest to open. One of the main features of Legion Remix is Eternus at the Bazaar, who will give you the Infinite Research quest. This is one that you can take several times that will give you various activities that you can select and do. This is going to award you with a cache of infinite power, which is a really powerful chest. The Epoch Resonance item, which is going to permanently increase experience gains that you gain in Legion Remix, even for your ults if you bring in a different class. You'll also get 1,000 bronze for completing this. You'll see here that Resonant Epoch Memento gives you an increase of 1 experience. Just 1. It's like, okay. But at least it stacks and you can do several of these. You'll see that you also have a limit of how many research tasks you can take. Right now, it is up to 12. This gets increased the more quests you follow in the area over here as you progress. And I think you get to do a new one each day. So if you find yourself not playing for, let's say, 12 days, if you have done 12 quests, you can come back in 12 days and just, pick up where you left off. You can pick up a new 12 quests. For the rest of us, you're only going to get a new quest every single day. So it's time gated to keep things a little bit fair in terms of experience gains for your other characters. You should note that some of these quests actually might require you to change the skills in your artifact weapon, which you can do at any time just by holding shift right click. There's a little sneaky mode here. If you hold control and you right click on the main one over here, you can unselect everything along here. And if you want to swap to another one, like if I want to go to this one, I can hold control and I can left click and it will put all of the slots in here. Nice and easy. So if you ever want to swap, you're just going to go ahead and do that. Just make sure you select the final one again, because this one unselects itself. Once you hit level 80, a lot of things are going to change, including your priorities of what you're going to be farming for. Now, it took me about 10.5 hours to reach level 80 myself on my first character, my only one I'm playing right now. So expect it to take you around that long. And I also spent a lot of my time doing the Lorerunner quests because, well, you're going to have to quest everywhere anyway. Now, when you do hit level 80, you will immediately get a quest active at your class order hall, which will straight up give you the new class order hall mount for Legion Remix. This is the one for monks, and it looks incredible. The biggest thing you'll notice is that you'll start getting the moat of a broken time items. Every single time that you have 10 of these, and I do recommend grabbing it and putting it on your hotbar somewhere. So you can see here, I have 60 right now. I've been saving up for this little video. Essentially, anytime this gets to over 10, you're going to click it and it's going to combine the 10 to make an epic item. And this is how you're going to progressively get better and better gear. And it will slowly give you higher eye levels than you had before. Right now, it's giving me 601. So it's going to be a replacement. And this is going to essentially be how you get better and better gear. This is going to be raid gear. You can still get lucky and get a piece of gear that's really good from chests from other activities, but this is your most reliable source of upgrades from this point onwards. Now, these motes will drop a lot more in harder content, but I noticed that when you loot the regular chests, and especially from questing, I've been getting a ton of them. That's how I got 60 so quickly, just doing quests in High Mountain currently for the Lorerunner achievement there. You'll also be collecting another currency, and this one mainly comes from really hard content stuff in like the Heroic World tier, some of the raids, probably Mythic Plus dungeons, though I haven't dipped my toes just yet. And this is a currency that is called Fragmented Memento of Epoch Challenges. Every single time you collect 100 of these, they're going to give you a substantial increase to infinite power and stamina. So it's going to be a huge buy-off, but obviously it takes a bit of time to get this. I've only got 28. I have not collected 100 yet. You're probably going to get these a lot more frequently in the future with harder content to allow you to boost your infinite power and stamina to much higher levels, so that you can start soloing really hard content. And that is pretty much everything you should be doing for this first week of Legion Remix. And in future, there is going to be more and more content coming, obviously with their own new achievements and things to collect and increase your power level. I hope you found this video helpful and good luck with your week. Thanks for watching.